one word advice: patience. You need to have immense patience in this profession. It requires a lot of time, a lot of hard work. Success will come. That if any lawyer can make big, it is not as if you have to focus on a particular thing and if you don't achieve it, then it's gone. It's not like that. The profession is very rewarding.
Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of WhyLaw powered by Bettering Results. For this episode, we have an experienced lawyer with demonstrated history of working in legal services industry. We are pleased to have here with us Mr. Gauhar Mirza, partner at Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas, here with us today. He is skilled in arbitration, mediation, information technology and criminal law. He is proficient in handling complex dispute matters, arguing and representing clients before all tribunals, including arbitration and all courts up till Supreme Court of India. Gauhar sir has advised various tech giants and construction and automobile industries in regard to expansion of business and dispute resolution. In today's episode, we'll be talking about making a legal career from non-NLU background to becoming a partner in a tier 1 law firm, practicing ever-evolving technology laws, arbitration and much more. So make sure that you stay tuned till the end for this episode. So can you please share an overview of your life?
So I come from Bhopal, MP, and I did my law from Jamia Millia Islamia from 2005-2010. After that, I started my legal professional journey, and I have my family background is of government servants. My father was a government servant, and I've never had a lawyer in my family. Presently, if you see my overview of my life, you're asking, so I practice my profession. I am very passionate about my profession, and I have a family of 4 people right now in Delhi. So that's my life actually. Professionally, in the past 14 years, I started with a chamber practice. Then I got into a law firm. And then later on, I shifted to Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas, and now I'm a partner at CAM. So has been my short journey of 14 years. So that's the overview of my life presently.
Sure, sir. Sir, as you have completed your BA LLB from Jamia Millia, were you always sure that you wanted to pursue law? And sir, what were the factors which pushed you towards pursuing this field?
So primarily, when you take BA LLB as a course, you would want to do law, but the question is important because a lot of people nowadays do law and do not pursue it. So your question attains prominence. So yes, during the professional journey, and I was lucky enough to be in Delhi, to be studying law and from a central university. And the best part about being in Delhi was that when you get free in Delhi around 2 to 3 o'clock, you can usually go to courts and you can do your internships, you can do your small interactions with lawyers, and also that came as an added advantage. And very early in my college time, like second or third year, we started getting interactions with lawyers, and we used to have a notice board in our college where there used to be internship opportunities written, and we used to just contact them, and after our college we used to go and intern there. So slowly, when we saw how law offices are set up, how lawyers are building a practice and how they practice actually, slowly that inclination increased. Primarily when I started interning at a law office, it was a small law office in Gulmohar Park, and the focus was more on corporate law. So I started having some interest in corporate law, and they used to teach us also. But ultimately, destiny had something else in mind, and therefore, when I started my journey in 2010, when I graduated and I started my first association, it was in a chamber. So I think studying law was just the starting point of understanding what law was. But slowly, interaction with professionals pushed me towards thinking and making a career choice, which ultimately today I am a lawyer, and 14 years I've been practicing this. So I think that initial interaction has pushed me into, that was my basic consideration, I think.
So sir, as you mentioned that you had started from the chamber practice and now you have become a partner at India's leading law firm, Tier 1. So sir, how did you overcome this preconceived notion that only NLU students or the NLU lawyers can reach the top spot?
So I never had this notion. So today, if you speak to people, people think that there is some kind of a notion generally, and when people accept it and people start working towards that notion actually gains its real value. But I don't think I ever considered it or ever thought about it. The only difference one can have is the entry point is a little easier, maybe I wouldn't say very easy, a little convenient because you have your alumni, etc. But at a lateral stage, I don't think there is any disadvantage or advantage. But as I said earlier, if you do not perceive anything of that sort and you just follow your passion, follow your focus, I don't think there is any notion that can come in your way. So basically today you will see all law students, they talk about first generation, small city, small town, non-NLU, etc. I qualify, it's a tick box, everything is a tick box for me. But I have never considered to be a tick box. Now when somebody asks me a question, I go back in time and think, oh yes, of course. But yes, since I kept my focus in one direction, I never thought about it. There is a preconceived notion, I would not deny, but it's easy to overcome that, is what my suggestion or advice would be if somebody is listening.
So, sir, background is not that important as people think. It is more of your hard work and your struggle. This is what you mean.
Hard work, struggle, perseverance, focus, and all of it together. It can't be that you work hard but you don't have perseverance. It can't be you have focus but you don't have hard work. It has to be all together. The profession demands a lot of things from you. Today everything looks very fancy. We see big law offices, big lawyers, everything comes on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We see everything is so fancy. But at some point it was not as fancy. When it was not as fancy, we were still focusing and doing hard work. Now today it's fancy, so everybody wants to do it. So that's the kind of how it changes with time, and of course with the advent of social media, the acceptance of social media, everything has become so easy, everything has become so palatable. So that is the reason it has become so prominent. These questions have become so prominent. But otherwise, at some point of time, when somebody only focuses on their work, they will realize that everything comes through.
Sir, in your early legal career, were there any prominent figures like senior professionals or internship experiences that you must have gained which steered your interest towards alternate dispute resolution and arbitration?
So, when I was in my younger years, arbitration was not as prominent. I would very fairly say in 2005 to 10, you would not find arbitration to be very focused practice. Even when 2010 I graduated, and we used to have one hearing in 2 weeks or two hearings in 3 weeks or something like that. And I always tell people and people who practice in Delhi that there is a arbitration center called Niti Bagh. So a lot of arbitrations happen there, and we used to go there. And just on the lighter side, I used to only go there for coffee and tea and having some good snacks. And I always thought that arbitration was that. But with time, when it passed, we realized that it is gaining importance internationally. And then now today we see that it's become a very serious profession, and everybody, like I am focusing on it a lot, and a lot of other professionals, a lot of arbitrators, arbitration, a lot of people have focused towards India. So now you see, earlier we never used to have these kind of conferences in India, but all the institutions overall internationally, they are all focusing on India. ICC, you will see, CIAC, LCI, everybody focuses on India because we are becoming a hub of arbitration. So that has changed. But your question that who was the prominent figures at when I was looking at the profession is, I think during internships we used to go a lot to the Supreme Court, and it used to be a dream when we used to see Mr. Fali Nariman and Mr. Kapil Sibbal or Mr. Mukul Rohatgi. So we used to see them, and you would only see them as heroes, and never would want to say that I will become a Kapil Sibbal, because you will never become a Kapil Sibbal ever in your life. It's a fact. You can be like him, or you may copy some styles of him, but you can never be them. They have a very different persona. So that persona, when they come before you and when you see them, it's very different. But yes, one person or personality, if I tell you, is Rajiv Luthra. Recently somebody was interviewing me for something, and I wrote in that interview also that Mr. Luthra's personality was something that if you see him, you will realize that he was a different person, absolutely different person. Professionally, intellectually, the warmth that person used to emit out of himself is something that aspires people to be like him. So professionally, I would say Mr. Luthra.
Sir, with your extensive experience in dispute resolution, you must have come across life-changing cases. Can you share a few of them with us?
Yes, so the first case that actually I would say changed my life was, it's a reported judgment called Cal Airways versus SpiceJet. It was a Section 9 petition before the Delhi High Court. It was a dispute between two promoters of a company, and it's a landmark judgment. So the experience that I gained during that time was that I was briefing Mr. Kapil Sibal, Mr. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Mr. Rajiv Nayyar before the Delhi High Court, and I used to be a very young boy at that point of time in 2014, I believe that was the time. And 4 years into the profession, I was getting to brief such big personalities and learning all the nuances of how to present a case and all that. So that was life changing, and the judgment came out to be very, very effective. And then related to that was the Aircel Max's trial case, which went on, and ultimately the discharge happened, and I was a very, very active member of the team that was a part of the entire trial, and ultimately all the accused got discharged. And I very happily say that the discharge application was drafted by me. I left from Luthra to Cyril Amarchand during the time when the order came and all, but that's a different story. But those were the two important cases. Later on, I think in 2019, while I was at SAM, and so there was this case of HCC versus Union of India before the Supreme Court, where Section 87 of the Arbitration Act, the amended 2019 Act, that was struck down. It was a landmark judgment again, and this time it was different, and a learning experience was because every big or major senior counsel was opposite us. And I was representing a PSU at that point of time. I was briefing Mr. Tushar Mehta, he was the Solicitor General, and the other side was everybody from Mr. Mukul Rohatgi to Dr. Singhvi to Neeraj Kishan Kaur. Everybody, every big lawyer that was possible in the Supreme Court was representing the other side. And we were victorious to an extent, but yes, the 87 of the Arbitration Act was struck down. Recently, life changer was the NN Global matter, the stamping issue. I was a part of the team that presented the case before the Hon'ble Supreme Court, before the Constitution bench, and that was a very good experience.
So besides legal expertise, what additional skills you believe that aspiring lawyers should cultivate to make their career progressive and successful?
See, very simple answer to that is one, reading. Of course, everybody will tell you that you read a lot, and not just law books. You have to read other things, newspaper, general awareness books, and history about everything. Second, a skill which is very less talked about is, and I was recently addressing a gathering at a law college, is the art of observation. To be a good lawyer, you have to have the art of observation. Quietly observe everything around you. There may be distractions, etc. But if you start observing people and observing things that are happening around you, you will automatically see the patterns that are happening around you. And that if you apply to any profession, I would not say only law, if you apply to any other profession, that will help you grow faster than anyone else. That is number two. Third is, I think, a lot of awareness in terms of international law. As lawyers, you must actually gain. Not that you can ever rely on a precedent outside, but when you start getting to learn how jurists internationally think, you can then start comparing them with the Indian jurists and judges, and then see what's the difference and what difference can you bring when you are arguing or you are preparing for your matter. So I think those are the three things I would say. Reading, of course, is primary. Reading is a skill, not an art. But that is one skill people are losing because of everything available electronically. And now today somebody will listen to a vlog or a blog, read a blog quickly and not want to read an entire book. These big books that we have in our offices, they are hardly being touched. So that is one skill that people are not focusing much on. But read anything, I think it will help to shape or progress your career.
So sir, as you have mentioned that young lawyers or students should read books. So sir, do you recommend any books that one should read in his early career?
Yes. you should read all your Bayer Acts.
Right.
Please don't get into the just because there is a fancy English author's book kept in your library or your senior's library. Don't go to that. Start reading your Bayer Acts. Okay. That is also very less talked about. If you see, if you see the CPC for that matter, and I will go a little technical there. If you read CPC from page 1 till the end, you are a perfect civil trial lawyer, because everything that you require is written in that. How to prepare a plaint, how to draft a plaint, how to file it, how to draft a written statement, how to lead an evidence, how to admit or deny a document, what is the importance of admission and denial, how do you get into trial, everything is around that. So if you read your Bayer Acts properly, you will half of the lawyering is done. Then of course, when you read books or commentaries are a way of binding everything together. So a commentary will say CPC, this provision bounded with evidence or Transfer of Property Act, and then they will refer to a case law. So they will give you a holistic picture of everything that you have to know. But if you read the Bayer Act and you are master of sections, so if you see big lawyers, they will talk about sections like this. Why? Because they have been reading it every day. But I remember an incident. I was briefing Mr. Falin Hariman for a matter before the Supreme Court in 2014. We were 13-14, and we went to him, and it was a criminal. It was a SLP from a 482 rejection. We were representing a Japanese client at that point, automobile major. And we went to Mr. Nariman, and in his office, the conference he used to have, he never used to sit, he used to stand. And we started referring to sections, and he asked for the Bayer Act. And somebody got him a Bayer Act, and he started reading the section one by one and started reading each and every word. So, me being a very young lawyer, I said, he's Falin Nariman, god of this profession, and he's reading everything. So I of course couldn't question him. But while I was coming back, I asked my senior that why. He's like, that's the beauty of it. He started acting as if he knows nothing. He started reading every section. I remember 190 of CRPC was something he was reading, and the question was on taking cognizance. And he was just keep word by word, comma, full stop, everything he was reading. So imagine the importance of Bayer Acts. I keep telling everyone, every young law student or young person who's in the profession, just take out time and read your Bayer Acts. It's small, thin Bayer Acts. You will be a master of your art.
Sir, as you told that observation is also necessary. If a lawyer has a matter in a court, and supposedly if there is some time for his matter to come, so sir, should he wait inside the courtroom and observe those cases before his case, or should he try to socialize with people outside, because socializing is also an important aspect of advocacy? So sir, how would you suggest?
So I think very good question. Socializing is a very integral and a very important part, but it not the only part. I would say it's 10 to 20% socializing. Sitting inside a court will teach you what is going to happen in your matter. Sometimes suppose there is a case similar to yours and it's been heard by the judge, and that case is rejected. Your fate is sealed there, right? Now you will have to start prepping yourself as to what difference will you bring out. I do it a lot. So in Delhi High Court, it's an advantageous position because the roster is very, very, very simple. So if there is a challenge to an arbitration proceeding, OMP, COM, they are all listed together, and usually the grounds are similar. So you sit there and observe how the other lawyers have presented their case, what mistakes they may have done, how the judge reacted, and how you will be presenting your case. Rather, one more tip I would give is that whenever a new case comes to me and somebody says that we have to challenge an award or whatever, so what I do is I try to see where the roster is, how many judges are there, and I see all the judgments of that judge, what is the view of that judge. So the view, once you have that's the edge you have over the other person. So preparing inside while your matter is coming is a very good way of, and as I said, observation skills will help your case also at that point of time. Your question of socializing is also important, that suppose you are sitting for a matter which is an arbitration challenge or something, and some other matter which is unrelated to you, or there is something that may not interest you, or maybe it's taking a bit of longer time, then you can go out and socialize also. So I think both can go hand in hand, but socializing is these days is given more importance and not sitting inside court.
Sir, as the technology sector is booming with artificial intelligence and the gaming, etc., but India is still in the development stages. So, sir, there must be various challenges before you when you are advising your clients. So, sir, how do you overcome those challenges, and what advice do you give your clients on the same?
So I would say India is not in the developing phase anymore. We have reached a very phenomenal stage in terms of usage. So we are a very big consumer of AI, gaming, etc. Somebody was recently, I was at a roundtable with some committee members of the government, and we were discussing about gaming. And when this app called PUBG, when PUBG was banned and the user base was dropped, it was half when got banned in India, which means overall the global usage, half of it was in India. So you can imagine the usage. There are advantages and disadvantages both. But your question that how do you overcome the challenge and how do you suggest to your clients the way out is, the biggest challenge we are facing is the ever changing nature of AI or these technologies. So first is that we have to catch hold of that technology first. Second is this is one of the very rare or very interesting sectors where everybody is a stakeholder. So when we were developing the Arbitration Act or the arbitration regime, only bench and bar and law ministries etc. were the stakeholders. Public never used to come in the stakeholding meeting. But this is the only sector where everyone is taking more and more inputs from a company, from somebody who is developing the technology. When we develop a new rule or a new act, a lot of stakeholders are called and their advices are taken into consideration. At that point of time, the only challenge is that whatever these people say, they say from their perspective of their own business. So that is one challenge, that they want to make everyone understand that we are not bad. And of course, they are not bad. Nobody is bad. Everybody is there to do business. The challenge is that when you stop them immediately, for example, banning a particular app completely or banning a particular set of act or kind of act completely is a challenge that you face, and then you have to go to court, you have to take out and get a judgment, etc. Second challenge is that the law, how it is developed outside of India, we get inspired by it, like EU and otherwise. We get inspired by it, but we are not implementing it as rapidly as it is possible. So I think those are the two challenges generally a tech client faces, and we are trying to help them out in whatever way possible. And we must say it's commendable that government actually understands the problems of the sector and the problems of the entire community of these clients. But yes, challenges are there and we try to overcome them.
Sir, as you have mentioned about the IT and the tech sectors, since you are having immense experience in these two sectors, so sir, what are some of the issues or the latest trends that one should be prepared with, or he should be ready to face off while practicing the information technology laws?
So a challenge as a lawyer, if you will ask me, is that it's actually in a very nascent stage right now. We don't have too much of guidance available, other than I would say there was a judgment where 66A of the IT Act was set aside. Shreya Singhal is one of the guiding factors still today. Of course, then a lot of other judgments came, Google, Vishaka, etc. They came later on, and now they can also be seen. But because for arbitration, 1940 was also a guiding factor. IT Act is 2000. After 2000, the boom actually came after 2008-10, when all these companies started doing the IT revolution, and it came like a big bang. So the only difficulty for a lawyer may be guidance. So, but advantage is that you have the power or the right or the available resources to actually develop it in a much more proper manner. Today, when we argue a case before a court, you would see that the engagement with the judge is not like a bench and a bar. It's more what you say inclusive. They want to understand what the law is. I remember recently in one of the matters where there was a question of hashtag. The judge couldn't understand, so they called me to make the judge understand how a hashtag works. And I was in court telling the judge that, see, if you do a @ in your if you take out your phone and you do a @ or you take a hashtag in this, so so these are few things that are challenges. people who are adjudicating may not be as fast as the younger generation is. Today, if I give you something, you will do it in a faster pace. But if I give it to, recently we have seen there was a general report, a court proceeding where senior advocate was not able to use the iPad or something. So we have to understand that that's challenge for that generation, that they can't quickly jump to the technology. You can.
Right.
That is another challenge, I would say, professionally only,
Right.
not otherwise. So these are the two things I've seen as a challenge in the profession.
Yes, sir. Agreeing to that, since after the corona, a lot of cases are going in the hybrid mode, but we still see that many lawyers are not able to get comfortable with the technology. So, what should they really do regarding this? Because they have to manage their professional life as well, but they are not well versed with the technology.
So see, we have to be a little human about it.
Right.
Okay. Second, we have to also consider that everybody cannot afford actually
Right.
everything that we think. It's very easy to say that please get your iPad, but we know how expensive it is. Today one can purchase it, but some people cannot, and then there appears a deviation between two people. I would not say that it's a bad practice to use hard copies. It has been a practice for a very, very long time. COVID taught everyone how to use virtual hearings, and most of the people have actually adopted it. But some people who do not have that kind of support, so we sitting in Delhi or Bombay, we think that, oh, it's so easy, just click a button and start. But imagine a place, a remote area where there is no internet connection, there is not even electricity, proper electricity. An old lawyer who used to go to court with his files or with his or her files on a bicycle or on a motorcycle. Now they are now asked to suddenly jump on a computer and do it. We can't. Our expectations are too much because we are too smart. So I think we all have to be a little accommodative to everything. Technology will change, and every change takes its own time. 2018, 19, 20 was when Corona hit. It's been 5 years. I think in the next 5 years, everybody will be expert in it. Today, I'm relatively younger, but still for some things I need to ask my further younger colleagues to come and explain. If I need something to be airdropped to me and it is not opening, I will go to them. So similarly, an elder person in the profession, a 60 years, a 5 years, 70-year-old lawyer, if they are struggling, we should actually help them and make them understand how it can be used. So I think that those are a few points I would say in terms of adapting. You cannot be hell-bent on not using it. It's wrong. I am completely against. Some people say that I will not use it, and they will be ousted ultimately. So, but yes, we can all be together in this, and we can teach each other how to use it.
Sir, what advice would you give to aspiring lawyers who are willing to make a mark in domestic and the international commercial arbitration? A few tips, or what should they do?
See, whenever this question is asked, what tips or can you give for arbitration practitioners? First thing is that don't be completely fixated on doing an arbitration practice. Arbitration is one of the areas of dispute resolution. So the broader picture is dispute resolution, right? Arbitration is a part of it, alternate dispute resolution. So dispute resolution is a part of it. So we have to approach, or any younger person has to approach it as a holistic class. You have to see how a civil case is done, how a criminal case is done. Once you learn all of it, arbitration will automatically, you will learn it automatically. It's very easy. It's not as typical or as difficult. Of course, sitting outside of the profession, nobody will actually come to know that what exactly is happening. But fixating yourself to a concept that I will only be doing arbitration or international arbitration. I interview a lot of people, and they say, when you ask them, no, I want to do international arbitration. But what do you know about international arbitration? Do you know how many cases are there in the international arbitration? Cases are very limited. It's not as if that every day there are thousands and lakhs of international arbitrations happening. Then there are different criteria of matters or classes of matters. Some are shareholder disputes, some are construction disputes. Everywhere there is an expert already available. Everywhere there is a stake involved. So you have to see the skill that you need to develop as a lawyer or a younger professional is to learn how disputes work, how dispute resolution works, and then slowly get into the habit of take small steps and see how you can become an arbitration expert or an arbitration lawyer. First, take those baby steps towards learning what an arbitration is, how international or domestic arbitration works. And then when you learn it, then you hone that skill, polish yourself, be with individuals who do it, work with people who do it, and then slowly you will come forward and make a mark. The question is make a mark, then only you will be able to make a mark. There are very limited people in this sector, arbitration particularly, who have made a mark. I would not say that nobody has, but a lot of people there are who have made a mark, but it has taken some time.
So there is also a misconceived notion that arbitration is mostly related to work that is outside India. So can you tell our viewers that what is the basic difference between the arbitration and the trial which is there in the court?
So I think that's a wrong notion. The amount of arbitration that is happening in India is phenomenal right now. Some statutory arbitration, if you see MSME Act and few other statutes, they provide for statutory arbitration. So there are councils sitting in remote areas also who are doing arbitration. I recently got an award for examination which came from a very far place in MP, MSME Council award, a big award. So it's not correct to say that it's only restricted to international arbitration or anything. Second is more work is happening. I'm a constructions expert, and a lot of work is happening here because construction is something which never dies. Something or the other will keep happening. Some road will keep getting constructed. Some bridge, some dam, something will keep getting constructed. So it's an ongoing process, and I have seen cases where in one project there are 7 references to arbitration. Right. So a lot of work is happening towards that. But now the latest what we are seeing, and I have recently completed a matter, is related to a tech related dispute which was referred to arbitration. It was on the issue of development of an app. That was interesting, and that will also develop. So coming days are very positive for development, and numbers will increase. A lot of work will increase in that area. But yes, as I said, the answer to the previous question, do not fixate yourself that you will only be doing arbitration, because if you become an overall lawyer, you will ultimately be an arbitration lawyer, and then you can choose your path and focus towards it.
Right. Sir, for those aspiring to reach at the position of a partner in a leading law firm, could you shed some light on your daily activities or responsibilities which define your role?
So being a partner at a firm has a lot of responsibilities, of course. We have to see client expectations, we have to manage clients, we have to see our cases, how the deliverables are being met. We have to take care of our teams. There is a lot of burnout factor that comes in. That's also another word that is doing rounds, burnout. So we have to take care of people, and then we have to take care of the administration as well, whether everything is going as per our protocols, as per our policies. We have to keep a check on our billings and recoveries, and also daily work that is happening. We are not exceeding our targets or under cutting ourselves, etc. So all that is there. Second is outside BD work that we have to do is this general trends of what kind of meetings are happening outside of, and what trends are developing outside of our office, what other firms are doing, what other partners are doing, and how the market is changing, how things are changing. So these are few things of a partner's role is defined. So I think that's the answer to your question.
So, sir, we can say that, can we say that with great power comes great responsibility?
Obviously, yes, of course. I would not deny it. At some point, in earlier times, I used to deny it, but yes, there is a lot of responsibility. With great power I wouldn't say, but yes, with this role comes a lot of responsibility, because some people are looking up to you. Your clients want you on their fast dial. Your team thinks that you have to consider a lot of things for them, whether they're getting proper rest or not, whether they're getting proper holidays, vacations, etc. So all these things are there. So yes, a lot of responsibilities there on a partner.
Sir, being a busy lawyer, how do you maintain your work-life balance, and which are the activities or other practices which you prioritize to feel motivated or to energize yourself?
So few things that I have with duration of a few years now I have developed is getting up early in the morning. Right. If you get up, I would not say everyone should, but if you try to get up at 5 in the morning, you will realize a lot of difference in your life, because then you have at least 2 to 3 hours extra to dedicate to yourself, because 5 o'clock generally an Indian client won't be up and won't be asking you questions. A US client maybe, or a foreign client maybe, but 5 to 7 is some those 2 hours you can dedicate to yourself. You can sit, even sitting quietly and looking at the sky, or looking, or going out for a walk, or to for any physical activity, will give you an edge over others who are sleeping till 8 o'clock. So that is one good habit that I learned from someone. And actually my problem is that I always wanted to be up before my immediate boss. So in my previous organization, my boss used to get up at 6 in the morning. So I made it a point that I get up at 5 in the morning, because what if he needs something at 6 o'clock? So, but those are all old school thought processes. These are not prevalent anymore, and we are not even expecting those to come in. But these are few things. And to keep myself active and motivated, I think going to court keeps me very motivated. Meeting people and talking to people, writing for young students, teaching in colleges. I usually take courses in some of the colleges and go and meet younger generation, younger people who want to be lawyers and want to see themselves as partners. So all that keeps me motivated. On a daily basis, I think what motivation comes is from a little bit from fitness, and everyone should focus on fitness a bit. You should enjoy your life also, but not at the cost of your fitness.
Focus should be there.
A little bit of focus is required, a little bit of activity is required. Otherwise, if you go to court, you are walking all the time, that's also fitness. Yes. But if you focus a little, dedicate half an hour, 45 minutes to yourself, you will start seeing a difference in your life, and it will keep you motivated.
And sir, outside your legal career, what are some of the activities or hobbies for which you are passionate about? And do these hobbies or interests complement to your professional life?
So the only hobby I have is motorcycling. Okay. So I am a biker from a very long time. It's not recent, but I think from very early age, from the age of 12, 13, I loved motorcycles, and I always had the passion, the dream actually of buying a super bike, and I bought few now. I've had purchased most of the super bikes I wanted, and that is one hobby which is completely offbeat. People say that it doesn't suit my or match my personality professionally or otherwise, but that is one passion. And I have a group of friends who are bikers. We ride together sometimes, but solo also I go in the morning at 4:30. I take my bike out and I go. How it complements, recently actually my boss at my earlier organization, he asked me how does it add on. This question was asked by him. So the only thing I realize is that with a fast or a powerful motorcycle, it's not about speed, it's about control. Right. So how you brake it, how you stop it. So like you said, with great power comes with great responsibility. What I learn from this habit or hobby is that you should learn how to control that power. So that complements your profession also. That if you have immense power, how do you stop yourself from not breaking all the barriers or going beyond the speed limit? Then when you apply that in your profession, then you realize that despite being a bit powerful, so to say, at some points, how do you control yourself? How do you keep yourself humble? How do you keep yourself approachable? Not that you've achieved this and now I'll go uncontrolled. It can't be. So that control I learn every day, and that's my passion. And you can call it a little kiddish, but I like going alone, and I also talk to my motorcycle about stuff that let's do this. And so it's a bit crazy, sounds a bit crazy on the lighter side, but yeah, that's something that keeps me a little interested. That's the only hobby right now I have. Otherwise, with my daughter, I am developing the habit of painting. So she has somehow gotten into habit of painting, and I try and do some bit of it. I like a lot of work that Shweta Shroff does. She is a painter, and I keep following her. And from there, I think my daughter started seeing that, and she started following all that. And I help her. So that's another hobby that through her I am learning.
So lastly, what tips would you give to the aspiring lawyers or young professionals in their early career who want to work in leading law firms in India? Some of the advices or the tips which you would like to give?
Yes. one word advice: patience. You need to have immense patience in this profession. It requires a lot of time, a lot of hard work. Success will come. That if any lawyer can make big, it is not as if you have to focus on a particular thing and if you don't achieve it, then it's gone. It's not like that. The profession is very rewarding. Everybody becomes your family. If you go today to High Court, Supreme Court, anywhere, everybody knows you, everybody accepts you. It happens with time. So a lot of patience is required. You cannot, just because you had a bad day in court or you had no work today or something, don't get disheartened. Keep waiting for it and keep working for it. Do not lose patience and do not lose your focus. The moment you lose that, then you shift your tracks. So I should not comment, but suppose you're trying to do litigation. I am on Twitter and I see a lot of young lawyers tweeting about their daily struggles in courts. So I keep writing to them. I comment on them that you do this, do that. I like doing that because I like sharing these experiences. That if at some point of time earlier in my career, if I had seen a struggle which I thought that it's not worth it and I had left it, I would not have carried on this journey. It's not as if that everything was as good as it appears today. There were bad days for me also. I remember, if I can share with you, that I used to have a motorcycle and I used to have, in summers, I used to have a bag full of files kept on my bike's dicky, and I used to run from one district court to another district court in the heat, and my shoulders used to burn. So all those, if I had stopped at that point of time, I would not have then developed myself as a good lawyer. Struggle is required, patience is required, so keep giving that time to the profession. And little bit of another tip is that you have to be a little loyal to the profession. So those are two things. If you have, you will likely succeed or likely achieve somewhere where what you see yourself to be.
So, sir, can we say law as a legal profession, it is the best of the branch?
I think yes. From a personal point of view, yes. No profession is as good as being a lawyer, because it has so many colors, it has so many branches, it has so much human value attached to it. I remember one of my earlier bosses telling me that it's a people's profession. Whatever you do is going to affect a person ultimately. If you lose a case, if there is a bail and the bail is rejected, the person is going to spend their life in jail or the day in jail. So it's a people's profession. You have to understand, you have to apply that human touch to it, and that's what the beauty of the profession is. And I would definitely rate law to be the best profession.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.